And let's just get caught up. How are you since last time we met?
Well, everything's going very well. I'm enjoying each day as it comes. No matter how many storms are out there in the world, I stay in my center and
Wow.
weather the storms.
Oh man, you're a good role model for me.
The only way I can do it is through my meditations. If I didn't have meditation, I would be like the rest of the world going crazy.
Hmm. Good for you. Yeah, meditation. I
Oh,
don't know what kind you do, but I don't know where I'd be without mine. I think I'd be lost at sea.
right, right, right. We have to stay connected to our inner being.
Hmm.
Yeah. So,
Well, I wanted to, one of the things we were talking about, I think one of the things we were talking about are ways of helping ICSI babies find a more complete relationship with their little bodies that have been so traumatized from the very beginning.
that sounds good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's go back to that story of the little girl who was
Mm.
concerned about the frozen embryos.
Yeah.
That a case of ICSI. I don't remember now. Was
I
it?
I think we're definitely ICSI. Yeah.
Okay, okay,
Mhm.
okay. I have some more questions about that beyond what we spoke about before.
Do you want to ask me now?
Well, what I want to know is, I asked about how was this resolved? Was there a ending, happy ever after ending? And you went on to say, we talked about it, her parents talked to her about it. My question is, what kind of content were in those conversations? I know people like Wendy McCarty says, tell the truth very compassionately, authentically, and it's has a
Mhm.
powerful healing because the child knows something happened and it probably knows what happened, but it doesn't have
Yeah.
the context. And so many healings have happened that way. So I'm wondering, how far do you go with explaining what happened on their journey in
Hmm.
this world? How do you explain that to a little how old was this little girl? 3 or 4 or something?
I saw them, I think, between the ages of 3 and 5, maybe.
Okay.
And yeah, she's right. You tell the truth compassionately. I tend to take it even a step further if I
Mhm.
can, if I'm moved in the moment when I'm there and I have the ability to. Um, and that is to not only tell their story, but to show them their story, show them in a way that they know we're feeling it, and let them begin to guide a sort of a storytelling process out of their own, you know, actions.
Wow,
Yeah,
beautiful.
I could give you an example. I mean, there's specific, uh, I don't know what to call 'em, techniques or props or helpful things that we can do to communicate with the little ones so they feel what's going on. They know what's going on. And then the feeling in their body begins to resonate. And we just sort
Mm,
of track them and help them know that they're being seen and they're being understood and they're being mirrored and their story is being mirrored. And mom and dad are there now in the light of
mhm,
day. They're not alone in
mhm,
a laboratory or a petri dish or a centrifuge. They're there in the light of day in a loving environment. And
mhm.
so I have to say that there's so many interventions at such an early age with IVF conceived, especially ICSI, conceived babies that there are many layers of healing that can be done.
Right.
You can work very, very hard and put a lot of energy into a session or a process, and and have a wonderful resolution with that
Mhm.
particular
Mhm.
issue, but then there are
Right.
stratigraphic
Right.
layers of all sorts of other ones that you kind of need to get to if you're going to really do the best you can with any particular baby.
Yeah. It's many layers, many layers.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. And then you said that it was resolved, but on another level, you weren't quite sure maybe something would manifest in the future and that she felt that some injustice had been done in the world. Is that how you said it?
Well, her frozen siblings, parents hadn't determined what to do with them.
Right. Yeah.
And she saw them in a dream as souls suffering inside an icy cave.
Mhm. Mhm.
And
Mhm.
so when she brought that up to her mom, it made them aware, like so few labs make you aware of, or parents don't think of this when they get into it, that, hey, we created beings with souls that we now need to be responsible for.
Yeah.
Do we save them for future,
Right.
or do we give them to somebody to do experiments on, or do we, you know, I forget what it's called when you don't freeze them, when you let them go. I don't know what the name for that is, but do we discard them?
Right.
And so, those are issues that would influence the field of the family. And once something like that comes to closure, the field of the family would definitely shift.
Mhm. Mhm.
And it
Mhm.
wouldn't be a distraction anymore so much to the you know, kids who are wandering around looking for help and wanting to have fun and play.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's an unknown territory, and the scientists can do certain things, but they don't see the big picture. And now it's gone out of sight, I guess, in terms of how many people are seeking that as a solution.
Yeah. It's so sad because, from what I understand, um, other solutions are just as successful, but much less costly.
Mhm.
And a lot of parents think they've tried everything, but they haven't. There are many ways to encourage a difficult implantation, for example, if you work with a pre and perinatal educator or therapist who can help a mom maybe resolve her own implantation issues and help make her womb an inviting place for a new little being to make home in. There are all kinds of um, strong psycho-emotional impediments to not just conception, but implantation, especially, that can make it hard for parents to conceive. And there are also, acupuncturists who are really getting good at helping people conceive. There are other methods that are much more natural than what happens with
And
this.
they don't have all these consequences to deal with. Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
A much smoother path, much smoother.
It's hard enough.
Yeah, I think we wanna be as natural as possible.
I do. I encourage it if it could all be done. Yeah.
Right,
Mhm.
right, right.
Well, let me walk you through. I found a session I did ages ago in Portugal, and we started to make a little teaching movie out of it. We didn't get very far, but I'll share it with you.
Okay.
You can stop and talk as we go through it if you like. Let's just see where I'm at here. Can you see my screen?
Yes, I see it.
So, yeah, because this is one of my ICSI files here. Um, I could take you through one of these PDFs where I talk about IVFs and ways to work with them and what they do and how they can be impediments to embodying at some point. So that's something else we could do. I could walk you through one of my PowerPoints that I use for IVF teaching. But for today, I want to show you this sweet, where is it? There's a sweet little, here it is. Sweet little spontaneous movie. It's got a fancy caption and everything, but I don't think we did much else with it. Um, and I'll just set the stage for you. So this is a workshop I was doing in Portugal, in Lisbon. It must be 15 years ago. And here you can see this little chap here. He's an ICSI baby. And this is dad, and this is mom. And then there are students of mine. Most of them you can't see there because they're behind the camera. So we created kind of a nest of empathy and compassion and let the parents get comfortable and try to listen to what the baby's going to say with the baby's body language. Here he is checking the filmmaker to make sure there's no danger by being
Uh,
looked at,
uh,
seen. ICSI babies can often feel like they're on guard all the time because look, look at this. This is how they start life. What does that do to your cellular memory when your egg has been violated like that? So we see that a lot with ICSI kids. They're like, "Ooh, gosh, am I safe? Somebody gonna come get me or stab me?"
yeah.
Or the crush. I was looking around for a prop because I sometimes use like in my own practice, I used to have a broomstick
Hmm.
that represented a pipette.
Uh-huh.
And I often would give the pipette to ICSI babies and let them play with them and have some control over them and have some power over them. And sometimes they would want to hit their moms over the head with those pipettes and they would get mad and throw them. So that big stories can come out when you allow the children, when you mirror them enough, they open up and get going and start to tell you their story. So I didn't have a broomstick, but one of my students had messed up her leg, and she just happened to have a crutch. Um, she's back here. She's sitting in a wheelchair, and people were asking me what I needed for the demo, and I said, "How about a crutch?" Uh, so yeah. Where are you? Thank you. Here comes the crutch. Rita, I need you to hold this egg up. Hold it right there. And I want you to notice the peripatetic activity of this baby. So many IVF babies and ICSI babies just kind of can't sit still. It's like there's something after them, or there's no comfortable place. Can I be with mommy? Or should I be with daddy?
Hmm.
I feel like there's a lot of tension in their bodies, and there are places where their bodies are gripped, where in a big, happy, floppy baby, the soul can just sort of spread out into this yummy landscape inside. And a lot of ICSI babies are, it's a pity. Someone would look at them and say, "Oh, this person has ADHD, or this person can't sit still." Well, it's in there. It's in there the vibration of their cells from the very beginning. So
Yeah.
that's an example. He just can't sit still. He's running around. Um, Let me tell you another thing real quick. I had a practice in Boulder where I did all C-section babies during
Mm.
all day. And so C-section moms, cesarean moms and dads would come with their cesarean babies. And Cesarean babies often need to be oriented around tunnels because they didn't get to go through a tunnel. So they don't have this orientation that the rest of us have. If we're naturally conceived, we've been through a lot of tunnels. We've been through a fallopian tube, which is a tunnel. We've been through the vas deferens and the urethra,
Mhm,
all these tunnels, and then the
mhm,
birth canal, which is another tunnel. And so often, wonderful healing possibilities can arise when you allow a cesarean baby to go through a tunnel and finds kind of their own start, their own like their own impulse to get started and their own power. A lot of them try to pop out the side of a tunnel or jump out the top and go along people's backs to get to their moms. But basically, you have the mom at the end of a tunnel, and she's encouraging the baby and saying, you can do this. It's not what the baby was told by their cesarean birth. It's you're strong. You can trust your body. You can find your impulse. And so we have a kind of a mantra, a mommy mantra that we give the mommies on the other end of the tunnel, and the babies sometimes just really struggle to get beyond the hostage taking block that they can't do this on their own. And
mhm,
it's so beautiful
mhm,
to
mhm.
see them break down that barrier and go through the tunnel. And suddenly, you can see that literally their eyes are sort of like, what just happened? And it's this sort of neurologic lightning storm is going on and things are changing in the brain and they feel empowered. They want to go through the tunnel again and again, some of them after that.
Wow, that's
Well, we couldn't get the IVF kids to even see the tunnel.
mm,
So we would put them in front of the tunnel. They would just run around the room. Uh,
wow,
Sometimes they would run into the tunnel, bumping into people. And the cesarean babies who had a natural conception, we could kind of get them. They'd been through a fallopian tube and they'd been through things that IVF babies had not been through.
right.
Or if they've been through, I think it might be shocking to go through a pipette instead of a natural implantation. So
Mm,
one thing I noticed was about orientation abilities, they just struggled. So,
mhm.
so this little boy's doing a little bit of that. He's like, what's going on? Where in the room am I? What should I be doing? Let's see what he does next. Just doing a little test to see if he orients. It's go back and forth. Is he able to orient and stay with something or not? Hey, you won't need that. You get it? You get it? Okay, so as I always do, any moment a baby wants to join in and take over,
Mm,
that happens. We love it to happen. So this baby was going back and forth, and all of a sudden he saw this round shape on the
uh-huh,
ground, which were our little wicker pillows that we were sitting on. And it's round. And I often use round things to represent the egg when I'm in a therapeutic situation with, especially ICSI baby. Those yoga balls are great. I play with them all the time with ICSI babies. They love it. So yeah, so he suddenly said, "Hey, I want to check this out." So put on the brakes, baby's in charge, and do what the baby is needing. So we're going to get him his object to play with. There it is. There it is. Can you get it? There you go. Good job. Swipe. Swipe. That was not the pillow. He was needing something else. There's the pillow. This is a test to see if he is on board. I just grabbed the crutch and lifted it up in the air. Uh, to me, it represents a pipette, which are used at different phases of sucking the sperm up, pushing them back in, and planting them. And so you can see the minute I lift that up, he locks onto it. We're no longer in a room in Portugal. We're back in a lab where he was conceived, and that's a pipette. So we're collectively kind of regressing along with this little dude. He's so engaged with it already.
That's amazing.
So that was an ICSI move.
Wow.
So clear, right? Uh, pipette just got pushed into the egg.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
And he's there in the light of day with loving people, and his parents are there. So it's so beautiful to be able to say this kind of very challenging story out loud with these gestures that we're doing. But he's safe enough that he not only understands what we're doing, but he feels the need to do something with it. And so he gets deeper and deeper into this session, as you'll see. Yeah, that's so cool. He just, you know, you see him go pat the egg.
Yeah.
It's like, this is the place, you know?
Wow. Amazing.
Yeah, it's so sweet. You know, when you're on the right path, babies, they don't get scared. They really get into it. They love it. So he just patted that egg. How you got here? Now he wants to get out of here. It's so important, this part. You see, he wants to go back
Hmm.
to where he came from.
Wow.
Got it?
Yeah. That's amazing. That's
Yeah.
you figured
And,
out some very deep stuff here. I don't think
well,
many people are
keep
seeing.
going. There's more.
Oh,
This is just the beginning, really.
Entendi como se fosse a seringa no.
So the fertilized egg just rolled over to mommy. It's like it's going to be in
wow.
her fallopian tube or be with her in her womb. So that's what we're play acting here. So nice to have power over. So that's called the ICSI conception game. Did you know it? Did you know that's what I was doing?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. I think he knows. Whoa. What was that? What was that, mommy? Did you see that? Oh, did you see that? Wow, that's how I got here. Wow. Wow. So you can see his enthusiasm when he is seen and empowered. All babies want to be seen. And when their story is shown to them, they feel important and they feel happy. And so he
Mhm.
is just really pleased there. He wants more. So he's headed back to the little seating device that we had there. See that again? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Watch for that needle. Special comes out of here. This time, can I put this on you? This time, I decided to. I don't know if I decided or I just had an intuition, or maybe his little psyche was motivating me. I decided to go with the needle to the dad and suck sperm out of him to further ratify the story in the boy's experience.
Wow.
So that's what's happening here.
Yeah, sure.
Ah, yeah. Then, Daddy, then what happened was, can you hold this? Yeah, baby. I love this part because he he I love this part because he joins in the process of his own conception by helping put the pipette into the egg with his own hands. So there's so much power in that, and he can relate to it, and his body's doing it. So his body is releasing so much of the contractive shocks and traumas that his egg must have had from the beginning. It's like he's helping himself get.
Mhm.
Okay, let's put that. Is it ready? Oh, you see that gesture of power? It's
Yeah.
so lovely. He's like a Superman, you know. And ICSI babies are so disempowered all along the way.
Mhm.
Centrifuges and
Mhm.
out
Mhm.
here, put in there, mixed together. It's just powerless. So when he had this ability to participate, he just celebrated it with his gesture. It was so sweet. Yeah. Oh, that's right. Oh, yeah.
Inte use it questo.
That's gonna be good. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Let's put this with mommy. Okay, come on. Let's put this with mommy. That goes with mommy. Yeah. Let down, see what he does. Get out of my way. Get out of my way. Yeah. Wow. Put that down. Put that down there. Yeah. The middle is here. You know, Elizabeth, there's so many important things going on inside that egg. You know, the haploid chromosomes are getting pronuclear envelopes wrapping around them, and he's pounding on
Mm.
the egg, and those pronuclear envelopes somehow dance in syngamy and find each other. And he's pounding on the egg and stirring the pot, and then they interdigitate, and they get to hand off different little genes and share and mix things up before they separate. And so I feel like
Mm.
his little making gestures have to do with that level of cellular memory inside the sperm inside the egg.
Makes sense. Yeah.
Look out, Sally. You got it. There we go. Swipe. Vocal mirroring down. Vocal mirroring. Do you have a big ball? Do you have a big ball like a yoga ball? Let's bring that in. Are you doing okay with the game? Sure. With me?
It's called the ICSI conception. Mommy, you take good care of that. That's a special thing. You take good care of that. Yeah.
I love his effort sounds here. You can see I'm mirroring his effort sounds, but they're very personal and they're very biological. They feel to me like what gametes might be saying if they could talk while they're working, compared with the who knows what kind of music was playing at the time they were, in vitro, conceived.
So we would say he was a wanted and planned baby. That's good to be wanted and planned.
Can you hear that part, Elizabeth?
Yes.
This is one of the really positive reinforcements we always need to do with our IVF parents, because they create wanted, planned babies.
Mm-hmm.
Very few, well, not very few, but fewer. They're actually, the way to say this is more of us were surprise babies than planned babies. And even people who are planning on having a baby often don't get them like when it's convenient for them. And these IVF babies the parents strive to have them. And it's so important to acknowledge that and nurture that for, to just to stroke the parents and congratulate them, bless them for wanting a baby, and to let the baby know you were really important, you were really wanted, they really worked hard to get you. And that is glue for compassion in this otherwise pretty challenging conception.
Yeah, it's a powerful weapon against, the love is a powerful weapon against all the
Intervention.
issues that need to be healed. That's a thing to keep bringing attention to.
Yeah, it's great to be wanted.
Yeah.
I think we're almost through here. Let's see how things wind up.
Let me ask my students, how many of you were a surprise baby? Raise your hand. Surprise baby? A lot of surprise babies, yeah. So he's lucky, huh? Yeah, lucky. Yeah, lucky. Yeah, you're lucky, monkey. You're lucky. He likes this game, I think. Swipe. Can you write birth, BB?
Back to heaven.
Why did that happen there at the end? He went back to heaven.
Oh, I think he just felt so satisfied. It was like home. Like he got a little, he came more into his body, and his body became more home-like. And he has a divine connection. You can see it more powerfully in other sections of the video. For a lot of IVF babies, when you work with them, home is a refuge. And if it gets to be too hard, or someone is not working at a really safe pace, that the babies want to get out of there. But it's not just that they want to leave the room and end the session. It's like a recapitulation of maybe them suffering enough on the earthly plane that they want. I mean, so many of us have divine homesickness anyway,
So was there a particular reason the family brought their son to you for this therapy, or were they having some problems already at that time, or?
I can't remember. But it could be something like transition problems, getting him in the car seat, or
Mhm,
transition problems, letting him feel safe while he's falling asleep. Or,
mhm,
or maybe
mhm,
he's always afraid of being touched. A lot of IVF ICSI babies are tactile defensive. I can't
mhm.
remember exactly what it was with his case. Um, I'm sorry, I just can't
Well,
remember.
that's okay. I was just curious.
Yeah. Hmm.
That was very interesting. Very subtle work that you're doing.
I try to let the baby's psyche tell us, guide us, help us.
Mhm,
And when you're working in that context, there's something like a flow. You can kind of tell if you're in the flow or out of the flow once it starts flowing, and all
mhm.
kinds of things happen. You never know. Someone's going to grab a crutch and hit a pillow with it. What's up with that? So it's a kind of a wonderful mystery, doing baby work in general. But I feel like with our ICSI babies that there's a lot we can do to help them feel safer in their bodies and
Mhm,
embody and bond and sleep and so many of the things IVF babies have trouble with.
mhm, mhm. Need more therapists in the world such as yourself.
Oh man, I know.
And how many parents are even aware that such therapies exist or
Mhm.
recognize that it's something that's happening with the child can be traced back to? There's a
Mhm.
lot of uh, barriers, you could say, to bringing a therapist and a child like this together.
Mhm. It's so sad because often as toddlers or going into preschool or kindergarten, it's really hard for these babies.
Mhm,
They are different. They're perceived as different. They can't. That something's bugging them. Nobody knows what it is, and they don't know what it is, and so that suddenly they become a problem child in the classroom. And
mhm.
the parents nowadays, oh, he's got ADHD. Send him to the doctor, and the doctors will say, yeah, oh, give him some Ritalin, and there's nothing coming close to touching the cause behind the symptoms with that sort of unfortunate but persistently common approach to this kind of behavior that we see in so many kids.
Well, don't you think in the medical profession, they don't want to think that they're causing any problems along the way for this child going through the IVF?
Yeah,
They,
I think some of
so
them feel
they're
like,
they're not
yeah,
thinking like that.
I think some of them feel like they're heroes who are helping these parents have babies who couldn't otherwise have babies, and they sort of get attached to that idea and talk about success rates and talk about, you know, making a baby happen. There's very little subsequent follow-up from psychologists coming back 2 years later or 10 years later and saying, hey, I wonder if there's a relationship here. When I think the relationship is so clear, it's so self-evident. Uh, Probably we would have to have 1,000 studies like the one we just did to convince anybody to even think about it.
One of the stories in our book about the little boy who was waking up and complaining that he was freezing cold and his teeth were chattering and his body temperature was fine. His mother tested, touched him, and he's not cold. But in that she made some comments about when she had gone in to discuss the possibility of IVF with the doctor. There were no reservations. Oh, this is going to be a normal pregnancy. And so she planned to have a midwife at home. And when she told the doctor at some point what her intentions were for the birth, oh, no, you need special care. You need to be in the hospital.
We need to control it.
Yeah. So she felt he was giving her a sales pitch and felt that he was being a little bit deceptive, not telling her the full story.
I've run into that a little bit, as you can imagine.
Yeah. Another thing I heard recently from a midwife, and she saw something on Telegram, and I said, oh, please send me the link to that. So I haven't gotten that link and haven't been able to trace it down. But what she had told me is, I had heard that during COVID, that the number of C-sections were increasing. The doctors just wanted to have as little contagion as possible and have the mothers in and out as quickly as possible. So they were pushing C-sections for everybody. And so I was talking to this midwife about it, and she said, well, do you know why they were doing that? I said, well, it's 20 minutes, and it's done, rather than taking many hours, and they want to go off and do some consultations and make some more money. I was thinking that way. She said that she had found this information on Telegram where someone involved, I don't know if he was the go-between the hospital and pharmaceutical companies. I'm not sure. I don't have all those details. So I can just tell you a little snippet of what she said. She said, no, in the case of a natural birth, the hospitals will get, I thought this source of information was telling, will get $50,000. They will be paid $50,000 for a placenta from a natural birth, but for the C-section, $500,000. That's why I want to track the story down. Is this really so? And would somebody really be telling this on Telegram? But I thought, well, that's something I never considered, that it was so valuable that they would put a price.
A lot of crazy stuff around birth out there.
And then she said, with normal birth, when the parents want the placenta, they would like to have that after the birth, and they request that. And I don't know if it's all cases. In many cases, or in some cases she was aware of, the parents receive a very mangled placenta. It's all been like it's squeezed out. All the stem cells are out of there. There's nothing. Just it doesn't look like a placenta anymore. But so there's an industry here that's benefiting from some.
I've heard a little bit about that. I don't know much about it, but I've heard a little bit about it.
Yeah. Well, if you're doing, I don't know how many C-sections a day, but if you're making 500,000 for each placenta, you're going to be doing pretty well. So these are the behind the scenes things that kind of restrict the knowledge getting out there. This big push. Oh, this is the modern way to do it.
Yeah. Well, Elizabeth, I've got to run. I wonder if would it be okay with you if I what I'll do is I'll ask my media helper to kind of added the beginning and end of our conversation about the session. And then I'll send it to you to see if it's okay with you. And then,
I haven't gone into anything delicate. I don't have any problem.
okay, great.
I don't
Well,
need
I want to put it
to find.
on, I want to put on Instagram so it can help wake people up around IVF. So we may not end up being famous. You never know.
Yeah, I did some posts on Facebook and Substack on the IVF, and I got more response on Facebook from those posts than anything I've done in a long, long time, if ever.
Wow.
It was a few mostly positive, like, thank you for sharing this. This is important, and we don't hear this kind of stuff. And there might have been a few people that were saying, oh, I don't remember what their negative comment was. It wasn't that offensive.
Okay.
It was very positive and saying, oh, we need this information.
Well, why don't I send you a copy of our talk, and then you can share it in any way you like.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I can do that also. All right.
Great. I'll make sure you get it then.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you for doing what you do and for hanging out with me today.
Oh, well, it was a fun time.
Good. I'm glad you like fun for
I'm
me
always
too.
interested in learning more. So never pass up that opportunity. And you're a very good teacher and effective in what you're doing. So that's inspiring, very
Thank you.
inspiring.
Thank you. Well, let's stay in touch, okay?
Okay. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Take care.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.